Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are back with another episode of Stranger Things, episode 2 of season 3. On the last episode, well, the theme so far for season 3 is love seems to be in the air. We have Hopper and Joyce trying to, well, more Hopper than Joyce trying to actually make something happen. She still seems to be, mourning Bob, and who can blame her? Um, Bob went out like a badass. Bob went out like a badass. Right. We have Will and Eleven. You know, kind of finding their way. It's after everything that happened to them in season 1 through to 2. I mean, in season 2 they got separated, but they've grown closer over the past 2 seasons, and they've grown closer and closer and closer. And I mean, it's a wonder they want to, be romantically involved, of course, make out and stuff like that, as teenagers usually do. It's normal for that to happen, but of course, Hopper isn't. He's not completely comfortable with it. He called Eleven his daughter, which I think is the first time he's done that. And his backstory, he did lose his daughter. At least it was revealed that in season 1, but. I don't know if he has legally adopted her now, or she's just, by virtue of what has happened, is his daughter. And that's how we all have thought of her at this point, anyway. But it was good to hear him say it, right? Of course, Lucas and Max are together, so everyone seems to be pairing up. And the only person who isn't appears to be Will. Dustin has come back from some trip, and he has a girlfriend, a Mormon girlfriend who he wants to introduce to the team, but um, they're not sure she actually exists. I think she does, as I said before, with Dustin. Um, Last season it was the same thing when he founded a McGorgon and no one believed him. Well, he didn't know that's what it was at the time, but no one believed him, and eventually it turned out to be true. So I think he does have a girlfriend, which only leaves Will in the group that isn't hitched, and I don't mind it. I mean, Will has been through a lot, and I said it before. Although I mean, watching Stranger Things, 11 seems to be all the rage, seems to be everyone's favorite character. But Will is my favorite character in the series so far. The actor himself has been given the most testing, dramatic roles that exist in the series so far. If you look at season 1 through to season 2 and back now, he's been scared, he's been isolated, he's been kidnapped. Um, he's been possessed. He's had to all these emotions, and the actor has pulled them off brilliantly, right? So he's my standout actor for the entire series so far, and I want the character himself, Will himself, to evolve. Season 1 and 2 were similar in a way that he was always vulnerable, right? Um, First being stuck in the upside and then being possessed in season 2. I want him to get to the point where I said it before. I don't know how true, if that even happens. He seems to have gone through a great ordeal. I don't want him to keep being the one they're continuously rescuing. I hoped that, you know after his time in the upside down, that he would have developed some abilities. I'm curious. I don't remember if this was revealed in season 1 or 2. Obviously, there were experiments carried out on 11 and children like her, and this ties into the upside down as well. Or the I'm just wondering whether Will um, can develop similar abilities because of the time that he spent there and because of the possession itself. So I'm curious to know, and that's where I want his character to go to. I don't know if that will happen, but that is where I do want his character to go to. I want him to develop some abilities, become this badass, and stand on his own, right? So he's the character that I'm looking forward to the most, to seeing how he grows throughout the series, throughout this season. Um, so fingers crossed, Will. I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. Of course, we had reintroductions to Steve and it was pretty much just catching up with everyone and seeing where in their lives they are now. And Steve, luckily, he's still very much good friends with the kids. Even after his little breakup, and he was portrayed as the bully for most of season one, but in season two, he quickly became a lot of people's favorite, one of their favorite characters because of his development and not just being the stereotypical jock that they usually portray in these movies or shows. Right, so definitely looking forward to seeing more Steve. I don't know. I'm hoping she was with Steve before, and she broke up with Steve, went with Jonathan. I think everyone thought that she was going to go with Jonathan before because that's what we've come to expect in most of these scenarios, at least towards the end of it. But it didn't work out. I do suspect that Steve has a love interest here, the girl at the shop the movie theater that he was working at. I do think that there's an interest there, right? It wasn't completely obvious, at least not to him, but I think that's where that's going to go, and I love it. The girl seems pretty cool, so why not? We had a power outage, and I don't know, the Mind Flayer seems to have somehow crossed over. Not entirely sure how or what the relation to the Russian test that took place earlier has to do with this. But the Mind Flayer is now here and seems to have, snatched Billy, who I'm not sure anyone will really miss. He was on his way to meet a married woman, and yeah, I don't think anyone's missing Billy. He's gonna miss Billy if he's gone. I'm not sure if he's dead. I suspect, based on the trailer that we saw before, I think Billy's the perfect guy to possess at this point. So I think he's just going to become the new vessel for the Mind Flayer for the time being. And I figure eventually it will be able to possess more than just one person. Last season it was just Will. But I think we're going to be seeing more of that, more possessions. And you won't know who to trust exactly, and that's scary in and of itself. So he got pulled down into the dark. We're not quite sure I don't think he's dead. It's a possibility, but I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to be the Mind Flayer's new host, and he's going to stir things up. All right, so definitely looking forward to seeing what comes next. All right, guys, episode 2, let's check it out. It's not even working. Why would you stop, Billy? Why would you stop here? Keep driving. If you call here, you're not going to be getting there in the next 5 seconds.
911.
There's no way that he managed to escape here. He must already be possessed. He just doesn't know it. Yeah. He swallowed something. Okay, I was right. So there's a group of them. He's just been building an army slowly. I can't help but wonder now whether this is some type of body snatchers thing, which would fit into the 80s theme that they're going for. So instead of possessing this time, he's cloning people and replacing them, I guess.
Hello, this is the Wheelers. Yeah, just a sec. Mike! Mom!
Okay.
I did not realize that.
Where are you?
Sorry, I was just about to call. I
Okay.
can't see you today. What, Mom? My mom's calling me. Better go.
He says
Talk to you
as
tomorrow.
he
Miss you
lies.
already. Bye.
Or they could just tell her the damn truth, though. I mean, your relationship is becoming a bit much. You guys need to slow it down. And I'm sorry, look, you come from an artist family. That shit was just flat, okay?
You don't pull the mask on that old Lone Ranger. You don't mess around with Jim.
Hands on the wheel, dude. Hands on the wheel. Never seen him this happy. I don't think in 2 seasons we've seen him this happy.
This is the first day in 6 long, excruciating months that they will not be seeing each other. Yes, I think it worked. Yes.
Technically, you didn't share feelings. You shared a threat.
I'm a puppet. You're the master.
So you remembered everything?
No, you just
I
told
mean, I had
him
to improvise a little bit, you know.
a little.
It turns out getting to Mike, that was the key.
And you didn't yell at him.
I'll tell you everything over dinner. I was thinking, you know, Enzo's tonight. 7 friends getting
You
together
have
for
no
a nice
reason to
dinner.
object.
I mean, we've earned it, haven't we?
Yeah, I can't be out late.
You'll be home by 9.
8.
8:30. I'll pick you up.
I'll meet you there.
7. Enzo's. Meeting there. Deal.
I really need to go to the doctor. I've been having some
Yeah, just make him uncomfortable.
girl problems.
I don't know why the hell that's
come on, the
uncomfortable.
light.
but-
Let's go.
Look, I just don't know if this is such a good idea anymore.
Really? Because I feel like it's the best idea I've had all summer.
Look, all I'm saying is, what harm is there in asking?
The harm in asking is that Tom will say no.
Watching Footloose
Hi.
all over again.
Hi.
I'm Dustin.
I'm Robin.
Pleasure to meet you. Is she here?
Is who here?
Hey! Oh!
How many children are you friends with?
That's weird.
No way. Hotter than. Just speak
How do you know it
louder.
was Russian?
I
Well,
intercepted a secret Russian communication.
Jeez, shh. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you said.
He missed me, and then he just hung up. He's a piece of shit. What?
Mike doesn't have jack shit to do today, and his Nana obviously isn't sick.
I guarantee.
I'm lying.
I don't even understand. Why lie?
Hopper, he threatened me.
Did he say he'd kill you?
Well,
No.
So then what's the big deal?
The big deal is if I don't do it, I had no choice, Lucas. I really had no choice.
I just wish you consulted me, because the way you handled this, you're in deep
Pretty.
shit.
yeah.
You're going to
you are.
stop calling him. You're going to take medicine. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't fix this, if he doesn't explain himself, dump his ass.
I don't know. I mean, it's not the popular
Can't
opinion, but
fix
honestly,
this.
the
It's just
the
one
Will
little mistake.
11.
I've
I mean,
made
the Mike
hundreds,
11.
thousands. Max
I'm not
has
really
done
on
me
it.
5
To be
times.
honest,
But what have I done? Huh?
I
Have
see
I
more of a
dissuaded?
connection between even Lucas
No.
and Max.
I've marched back into battle, and I've won her back every single freaking time.
Some fun. There's more to life than stupid boys, you know.
Wait, guys, I'm still here.
God damn it.
Guys.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand if you're angry with me. You can understand that,
Is
right?
it Billy or is it Flair Billy? Billy Flair.
But I shouldn't have said that.
Jesus.
Billy.
Stay away from me, Karen.
Nancy Wheeler, we spoke briefly on the phone last night.
We're from the Hawkins Post.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. You look too young for reporters.
We get that a lot.
Follow me.
It doesn't seem shaken by it at all, considering she described them as diseased rats.
It's right over there.
Okay. Should have led with that.
Jim.
Ah.
Thanks for coming by.
I'm not doing it, Larry.
Calm down now. You don't even know what I want.
You don't like your little fan club out there? You want me to shut them down? That sound about right?
When did you get my fan club, as you call them? Now, you know why they're out there, don't you?
They're not actually fans?
They lost their jobs
Something
to
like
the
that.
wall and blame me for helping make that happen. Now, you go ask old-fashioned American capitalism.
Well, Larry, I
don't
think
say.
that they're just exercising their good old-fashioned American right to protest.
I agree.
Yeah.
If,
What?
Jim, but I don't believe they secured a permit from your office. Did they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Then I do believe it's within my right to get rid of them. So, if you don't mind, please, just do your job. Flash your little gold badge and get rid of them.
Asshole.
You've never been shopping before, have you? Well, then I guess you're just gonna have to try everything. Oh, come on.
And Jim said 6 months passed, right, since the last events of the last season.
I don't understand what
I
we're
figured
looking
they
for.
would have done something by
Something
now.
pretty and shiny
Gotten her
that says
out,
I'm sorry.
you know,
What's something that literally says
Does
I'm
need to
sorry?
be able to-
No.
Is she even in school, by the way?
This is Nancy Wheeler from the Hawkins Post. Yeah, I have a bit of a weird question for you. I was wondering if you guys had gotten any recent calls about, rabid rats? No, rabid rats.
More coming. Because from what they told us in season 2, they move as a hive. To their, yeah. There was this movie in the 80s, or early 90s, I think. I think they were aliens, but it was this doesn't like this movie. Yeah, that's not a good sign. It's not. I can't just
Billy?
tip over instantly. At least not yet.
Billy. Take me to him.
I said, are you hurt?
What's going on? I heard screaming. Should I call an ambulance?
What are you doing here?
Shopping. This is her new style. What do you think?
What's wrong with you? You know she's not allowed to be here.
What is she, your little... You lie. Why do you lie? I dump your ass.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing.
He raised my property taxes, Jim. Forced me off my land.
You can protest all you want, Henry. You just gotta go through the proper channels first,
Nothing
okay?
proper about what that man did to us, to our town.
Yeah.
So much for this is not a date. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna show up. Oh, mall time is over.
The week is long. The silver cat feeds. When blue meets yellow in west.
What do you think they were going to say? Fire the warhead at noon?
Exactly.
And my translation is correct. I know that for sure. So, the silver cat feeds. Why would anyone talk like that unless they were trying to mask the true meaning of their message?
Exactly.
And why would anyone... I can't believe I'm about to agree with this strange child, but yeah, totally. Evil Russians.
So how do we crack it?
Well, I guess we translate the rest, and hopefully a pattern emerges.
A pattern, right? Like maybe silver.
How would you even sneak her out of a crowded pool? How did you even get her out there, though?
Millie, are you okay?
Don't be afraid. It'll be over soon. Just stay very still.
Alright, so episode 2, Stranger Things, season 3. Well, admittedly, not a whole lot happened this episode in terms of moving the story along, but this was more part 2 of episode 1. More catching up, more expanding the world itself, that setting up the new world, I should say, because I mean, for most of season 1 and some bits of season 2 as well, we didn't get a whole lot of the town folks and anything that was happening. We were solely focused on the main characters and wherever they were at any given time. But here, we're seeing the main characters, but we're seeing them in town and in the background. A lot of the issues that were going on, at that time, in the late 70s, early 80s. So we're tackling the issue of the mom and pop shops shutting down and malls springing up everywhere. And I mean, capitalism and Hopper himself said, I mean, while he's not into politics, he pretty much understands what's happening there, and the town mayor allowing the mall, allowing the mom and pop shops to shut down, and essentially just saying that let me just throw a big splashy independence celebration, and that will be all that's on everyone's mind, so you'll forget all your problems, if only momentarily, right? And that echoes a lot of what we're seeing happening now in the country. So it's the timing is actually quite perfect for Stranger Things. But yeah, so it's touching on a lot of issues that impacted persons back then, and we're seeing how that affects this town, and of course, I mean, our characters. It's not my favorite thing of this episode so far, and as I've said before, And I mean, coming back from season 1, right? We knew this was gonna happen. It's between Will and Mike's and 11's relationship will evolve over time. I don't want it to. I just don't want it to be something that they focus on for too much of this season. Right? This is episode 2, so it's fine. It's good to see them just being kids for a change, right? Season 1, season 2. They were constantly dealing with a lot of these issues and the Demogorgon and the Upside Down, and it's just good to see them relax, go to the mall, have fun, go on some adventure, have problems that kids would be having at their age. So that's a breath of fresh air, and I'm glad that they're doing that. I do hope that we pick things up in the next episode, though. We didn't get a lot of Will. He's just kind of in the background there. I don't know. It's interesting because for the better part of season 1 and 2, Will was pretty much essential to the storyline, and he was the focus of the story. 11 was for much of it as well, but it was Will that went missing in season 1, and they're attempting to find him, and then in season 2 he's returned to them. But only a shadow of himself, right? So for much of season 1 and 2, we focused a whole lot on Will. So it's interesting to see for season 3, we're not, the focus seems to have shifted. And that might be temporary because in the last episode, we did see that he did sense when the Mind Flayer crossed over, which suggests that he still has a connection to him. And if that is the case, then I imagine they will need to use will to kind of find it, and detect when it's coming later on. So it's a nice change of pace and change of perspective, so to speak. I mean, Dustin, Steve, trying to tackle the real problem, or at least what they consider to be the real problem, which is this Russian conversation that was picked up. They don't know at this stage. They don't know if it's a threat or anything like that. It's just it's just an adventure at the moment. But of course, it's going to tie into what's happening in the with the facility and experiments that have been going on. I'm not quite sure how this facility ties into the one that they blew up before, or that was shut down, and the gate that was there. So if it's a neighboring facility, because they did close that gate, and I don't think there was any way of getting back down there, at least not easily. But the story is progressing. We're seeing, Hopper is obviously being followed by one of the Russians, which means they know of his connection with 11. So by going to the mall, she kind of put herself at risk. But at the same time, it's good to see her go out. Hopper said 6 months passed between the last, 6 months have passed. And I assume that means between the last season and this one. And I figured in that time that maybe things are safe enough now where they would have enrolled her in school, to try to get her to become a part of, society because she's been isolated for most of her life. So that hasn't been the case, it seems. So this is the first time she's gone to a crowded event or place, and that's good for her. Hopper is trying his thing again with Joyce. It doesn't seem to be working. She pretty much, I don't know if she ditched him because she wanted to, or because she's curious about what was happening, or if she suspects something else is going on with the magnet falling down and all that, or she's going to use that as an excuse at the very least. But this is two strikes, right? Because he tried before, he tried now under the guise of just friends hanging out. That failed too. So I don't know. I don't imagine he's going to give it a third try, at least not immediately. Eventually, I think they will work their way back to each other, but as it is now, no. Nancy and Jonathan, of course, off on their own little thing, chasing a story that will have huge repercussions later on, but again, they don't know. So it's like each of our groups, in their own way, are a part of the same circle. They just haven't connected it yet, right? So, well, maybe except for Mike's group, but Dustin, Joyce, and now Nancy and Jonathan, they're all onto something that is related. That's related, but they're just not aware of it just yet. So they've discovered the rats, which seems to be how maybe that's what the mind flayer has been using to move around easily undiscovered. It's people see rats, it's just rats. It's not that obvious. It's a lot easier to do that than to have Demogorgons running all over the place. And I guess he started with Billy, infected him, slowly creeped and took over. And then he's going to have him, and he had him bring one of the co-workers there to convert her as well. And then, so 1 becomes 2, 2 will become 3, and so on and so forth. So he's going to be building his own army. And so far they fought monsters that they don't know or care about. So it was a lot easier for them to get rid of them or to kill them or whatever the case might be. But this is a whole other thing because these are people that they do know, right? As much as Billy is a dick, he's Max's big brother. I don't imagine she's going to want any harm to come to him. And the same thing is going to happen to everyone who gets possessed. There will be, they're going to be someone's loved ones. So it's not going to be as easy to defeat the mind flayer this time around. And maybe it knows this. It has evolved. It's like, okay, we can't take the direct approach, so we'll sneak in from within. And yeah, so this is a new. It's gonna be it's gonna be a tough battle. It's gonna be a tough battle. I don't know how they're gonna tackle this one, but I know they will eventually. I imagine next episode things will start to come together a bit more when Nancy keeps chasing that story, and I mean she'll come back and find that rat is pretty much gone, but I don't think it's gonna be too long before people notice. I mean, Billy wasn't exactly acting normal. The girl will be the same, and they can't be out in the heat for very long, and it is summer, which makes it a hell of a lot difficult for them to, be body snatching people without notice. Just being out in the sun temporarily, he started to show signs of burns. He healed from it immediately after. But it's still going to be a bit difficult for them to hide that. So I imagine at least the next episode or so, things are really going to start to come together a bit more. So definitely looking forward to that. Alright guys, be sure to post down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.